This speaker has been recorded at a meeting of Addictive Eaters Anonymous. For more information, visit our website www.aeainfo.org.
My name's Clare and I'm an addictive eater, and as always it's good to be at the meeting. Earlier in the week I remembered that I was sharing tonight, and so I just said to God, can you give me a little reading or a little topic or something to focus my share on so that I don't just waffle a load of nonsense? And as soon as I asked that, I heard the bit from the big book. I don't know what page it's on, but it reads something along the lines of, our lives as ex-problem drinkers depend upon our constant thought of others and how we may help meet their needs. And I was very ungrateful because I wanted a different reading. I wanted one that I was going to be able to share that I was doing really well at it. Whereas with this reading, I just fall really short of that ideal. I definitely don't have constant thoughts of helping others. But I do recognise that since coming into AEA, there's been some definite improvement. When I think about what I was like before coming into recovery, I just spent all my time thinking about myself, but I didn't know that because I didn't know there was any other way to think. My thoughts were always, what do I want? How do I feel? What do other people think of me? Am I getting my fair share? Is life going the way that I think it should? I would just spend days or weeks, I think maybe even sometimes months, replaying conversations and worrying about the future, or worrying about money, or thinking that life was just treating me so hard. I just remember always wanting to try and manage everything and everyone, and I always thought I knew best, and I'd get really angry if people didn't do what I wanted them to. So I didn't know it back then, but now that I've been in recovery for a little while, I can look back and see that I was just constantly looking for relief from that. I was constantly looking to escape, and I looked for that through food, for definite, when I was younger. Then when I got older, it was through alcohol and drugs and spending money, toxic relationships. I tried moving away from my hometown a few times because I thought if I go somewhere new where nobody knows me and my family aren't there, then I'll feel better and life will be good. I didn't understand at the time that the problem was in my head, and so it didn't matter where I went, I couldn't escape from myself. So I was always doing those substances wherever I was, just always trying to feel better and running away from any feelings that felt uncomfortable, because I had this belief that uncomfortable feelings weren't right, and I was just always meant to feel good. So yeah, I was just always trying to change the way I felt. What I didn't know back then is that I was just trying to escape from myself. It's taken a really long time for me to learn that. So when I eventually came and stayed in AEA, I'd done that because I'd run out of all other options. Like, I had nowhere left to go. I had tried everything. Counsellors, dietitians, nutritionalists, doctor's appointments, different diets, just all different self-help. I was a big fan of positive affirmations and psychics and mediums and tarot card readers and all that nonsense. I just wanted somebody to tell me that I was going to be okay, because I just felt like I was dying on the inside, but I couldn't put words on that. It wasn't until I came into recovery and I heard other people sharing their stories at meetings that I was able to find the words for how I was feeling and the things that I'd experienced. So I stayed here because this was the last rung on the ladder for me. I knew there was nowhere else to go, that I just had to knuckle down here. Eventually, I surrendered, I guess, and got serious about trying to get well. And I'm really grateful for the very clear message I heard when I came here, which was food wasn't my real problem and that I needed to forget about myself and help others. That was pretty radical to me. The thought of forgetting about me and what I needed and what I wanted and thinking about somebody else. I mean, that just felt so outrageous at the time. And I feel like this is what that reading is telling me, that if I want to get sober and stay sober and I want to stay well and free and happy and content, then I need to get out of myself. Because when my thoughts are just constantly circling around me and what I think are problems, then what I think are problems only get bigger. What I'm learning to do in this fellowship is to start thinking about how I can be useful or helpful or kind or supportive to somebody else, because then that's when things change and that's when I change. And unless I change, nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to get any better if I don't change. And I feel like I learn that more and more through being in AEA. But I've needed a lot of practical suggestions in the area of helping others, because that has just never come naturally to me. I grew up in a family where it was always all about us. We didn't do anything for anyone else. We were always looking to what other people could do for us. And so that was what I grew up around. I always had my hand out, seeing what I could take from people. Like, it never ever occurred to me to think, well, what can I bring to this situation, or how can I be helpful to this person? I just didn't know how to be like that. It's been so important for me to keep in contact with sober members, regular contact with sober members who's living this way of life, because that's how I learn. I learn from members sharing at meetings how they're helping other people. When I'm having phone calls out with meetings and I'm listening to members sharing about their day and what they've been up to and how they're helping other people, that's absolutely where I learn. I've had so many light bulb moments of, oh gosh, I never knew I could do that. Never. Because I was always thinking, in order to help other people, it had to be really big, grand gestures. And actually, what I've learned is just ordinary little things, like calling my auntie or an old family friend and asking them how they are and making the conversation all about them, or actually listening to colleagues when I'm standing having a conversation with them instead of thinking about what else I could be doing instead of being there with them, keeping my mouth shut when I'd rather give my opinion or try and prove that I'm right, or just doing something helpful and expecting absolutely nothing in return. Like, that's quite mind-blowing for me. I've heard lots of members sharing practical experiences of putting the shopping trolley back where it's meant to go when you've been at the supermarket. Like, I never did that before coming into AEA, ever. I heard members saying they would go into work and wash their colleagues' dirty dishes because they were in the sink. And they would just do that and put them away so that nobody knew it was them. They would just do that in secret because it was between them and God. Or picking up litter. I remember being at a meeting once and I heard a lady sharing about being out on dog walks, and she would take extra bags with her and she would pick up other people's dog poo because it just helped her to get out of self. And I remember at the time thinking, thank goodness I don't have a dog, because that means I'll never have to do that. But I don't know how long it was after that. I was at home one sunny afternoon and I was feeling very so. I was convincing myself that I was lonely and that I had no friends and I had nobody to hang out with. Round my house, I found some little bags that were good enough. I went along to the local park and I picked up some dog poo. And I was doing it with a smile on my face, thinking, I never thought I would do this. And it really got me out of myself and it gave me another sober day, which was remarkable. And so I know that in order to be free from the constant unhelpful, sick thinking that goes on inside my head. I absolutely need to think about myself less and think more about how I can be helpful to other people. Because when I do that, I experience some freedom and joy that I can't adequately express and that you just can't buy. I find that the more I try and forget about what's going on in my life and focus on helping others, it just allows God the space he needs to get into my life and take care of me. So that's for asking me to share. I'll leave it there.